As we near the millennium, the tools for visual effects and animation are evolving at an exponential rate. This spring, Paramount Pictures is proud to present the latest technological achievement in film animation. The top animation minds from around the world have collaborated with the top foreign animators from Japan with a budget of over $630 million to bring you the most advanced animation ever seen by the human eye.
I will do the German dance for you. It's fun and gay and tra-la-la. Hope you will enjoy my dance. Hilly-I-filly-I-I. Who the hell are you people?
What a great bump back. Anyways, back to your favorite very sponsored program, To See or Not to See, hosted by myself, David Price, and on the far end, Jeff Wilson. And we'd like to welcome you to New Res 105, on one of the few nights that's not dominated by Guitar Hero. First of all, just to kind of clear up some confusion, as you might notice, I've got a little bit of a fashion change this week. I endured some LASIK surgery, so with these lights and the camera, I'm actually in great pain as we're filming this. So hopefully this will make YouTube. In any case, to introduce the cast of characters, we have Miss Celia Strickland, Ashley Roberts, her man friend and fellow resident here in 105, Michael Ballou, and Jocelyn B., who along with all the other females is probably just here for popcorn. But anyways, today we're going to be reviewing Southpark, bigger, longer, and uncut. Now, I'll go ahead and open the floor up to you guys, because what we're trying to do is an informal session here. But I really can't think of too much that hasn't been already said about this movie by movie critics or upset mothers. But do you guys really think that there's anything that we can add here, something that people can take home?
Well, let's start with just first thoughts. First impressions of the movie for those of us that haven't seen it before.
I think I'm asking in my own mind the question that everyone who saw this movie is asking. Did Gandhi really go to hell?
Well, of course, in the South Park universe, the only people that make it into heaven are Mormons.
That's true.
So...
This is true.
I hope my mom didn't see it. I know my mom didn't see it.
We start off with what's good about the movie, get that out of the way, so then we start talking about all the negative things about this film.
Oh, yeah, there are many. I guess one of the good things is equally offensive.
Oh,
I think they went out of their way to offend possibly every single group out there. It's not quite as specific as some of their episodes, like there were no Mormon-only jokes, that kind of thing, but... Well, I know all Christians were offended.
I think they kind of steered clear of religion in this one.
Satan came back to Earth. And
this one they more made fun of social norms, if that makes sense. Like they made fun of the over-oppressive mothers, the racists, some homosexuals. Jokes were in there, obviously. But I didn't see as much religion bashing as they normally have in there. Like you have Satan, but you didn't have Jesus Christ as the main player in this particular film, as he's a main player in the show all the time, because he has his own TV show in the episodes. Where this time he's kind of, I think he made like a couple cameos as part of the military, but so
makes sense. And I think in a way, just so much like how much the plot has developed over time, there could have been a lot of changes. Like, what if Mr. Garrison, at the time when, and along their plot line when this was made, had been Mrs. Garrison?
Well,
how might that have changed the movie?
It would have been a lot different. I don't know how that would have changed the movie. I mean, obviously...
He's essentially the same character even after...
I mean, but he always takes the feminine side to things now.
I guess.
And then he could have joined the army anyways, played this whole G.I. Jane story role. I mean, it would be nice.
That would actually be an interesting episode for them to do a G.I. Jane.
We should email somebody.
Well, the soundtrack's kind of interesting, that it's a musical, and I think they're kind of poking fun at musicals at that point too, because obviously, they didn't get real musicians to write on this. It was Matt and Trey the whole time.
True.
I think every song genre I've ever seen was like mocked at one point or another. But they're really catchy. Yeah. Despite how melodramatic they were, Blame Canada is still stuck in my head.
Blame Canada.
Blame Canada.
There's nothing to be ashamed of. It was
Brian
very
Boitano.
inspiring. It's like right up there with Avenue Q, that kind of thing. Yeah.
I think this is definitely more offensive than Avenue Q.
That would be a whole new episode right there, actually, just comparing the two.
Oh my, yeah, that's a whole other topic. The social norms that we're talking about were kind of interesting. And they even made fun of themselves for making this very, very offensive movie. In the very beginning, you see this wonderful scene where Cartman's just like, yeah, animation's all crappy. Why did they make this movie in the first place? But then they talk about the over-oppressive mothers, which we've seen them everywhere, the over-activists. And you see these mothers that take up these causes and completely forget about why they're really taking up these causes. I mean, and you see that Sheila Broflovsky, which I can never say that name, so forgive me. But she forgets that her own son is Canadian, or her adopted son anyway.
He gets stuck in the attic.
So that's the moral of this movie. It teaches us not to essentialize.
No, you just can't. I guess if you're going to take up a cause, that's great, but know why you're taking up the cause. And don't let the cause become your main focus, but the reason behind it.
Are you really trying to look for morals in a South Park movie?
That's just kind of a shtick we have on the show, really.
We always try to look for morals.
Yeah.
It's South Park.
Actually, if you look at a lot of their episodes, they do have some underlining of moral value somewhere in the episode.
Like that World of Warcraft episode.
Yeah, dude.
That went to heart.
Hey, it won Emmy. I mean, it is still a work of art, and the artist is always going to try and tell you something. It's an expression, it's a form of expression. So, I mean, they are obviously trying to tell us something. It's just
See, I don't know. That's what Madonna uses to justify her crap.
Well,
So
do
you
you
can't
really
always
consider
go-
her an artist, though?
Well, she considers herself an artist. She crucified herself in front of the Pope on stage.
I
That
didn't know it
says
was in front
something.
of the Pope. Whoa.
Well, it's also Madonna, so
But
she also is 60 years old and still thinks she's hot.
no, I don't know. I think it works different in Scientology years. But anyways, making the large and possibly false assumption that our viewers have not seen this film, would we recommend it? Yes or no?
I think if you're a college-age student, you have to see this movie. I mean, it's just kind of one of those must-see. If for nothing else, just to say that you have seen South Park the movie.
Okay. Let's address the same question to some of our guests. What do you think? Recommend? Yes or no?
Yay, nay.
It really depends on the person. I mean, there are a lot of people that don't approve of swearing, which is what this movie makes fun of, so there's a lot of it in there.
And does significantly.
Yeah.
If you're easily offended, I wouldn't really.
Yeah. You could not watch it and not be a lesser person. But if you like humor stuff that's a little bit on edge.
I was cringing some time for Jocelyn. I was like, oh, Jocelyn's not gonna like that.
Of course, it's not just the language, so there's a couple other things.
Yeah.
But I
A
see,
couple.
I really see your
One or
point, though.
2 or 10.
Like, that's something I thought about, was that they were really trying to show how people have a hypocrisy when it comes to obscenity. Like,
Oh, yes. That's the main
it's
theme, I
okay
think.
for people to, slaughter millions in the name of a cause. Like firebombing Tokyo, that's okay. It's kind of called for. But you know what's really wrong? That Comedy Central and the words that they use. That's Sarah Silverman. She's a nasty person. Which she is, but still, I'm just using
that's
extremes.
besides the point, but it's a good example. I can see where you would say it just depends on the person, but if you're not going to watch it, don't pass judgment. I would say that would be my biggest grief, is that I always hear people judge stuff that I watch, and I go, "Have you watched it? No. Then why are you passing judgment on it?"
I would agree with that.
So I would give this, I'd say, I guess 3 Shakespeares, because I mean it's not great,
Mhm.
but it's definitely not a Shatner at all, and it's not even close to that scale. So I'd give it 3 Shakespeares because it's kind of middle ground. So.
That's actually exactly what I was thinking. 3 Shakespeares. It is a little too obscene at some points. Like, it just doesn't even have a point. Well, in any case, I guess that wraps it up. And in the end, ultimately, it's our viewers who decide. Matt and Trey, are they artists, or are they just flinging filth at our young minds?
Our delicate young minds. Impressionable.
If we do enjoy it, it's because we were warped by it.
The movie has
so-
warped our fragile little minds.
Exactly.
It sounds good.
All right.
All right. Well, anyways, we thank you guys for watching, and go ahead, rent it if you haven't seen it, and see what you think.